Okay, so you still like this? So I'm still going to change. I don't think it's possible. How about this? Either the one that they're or one that's going able to get out. So they're not going to have any children. They're going to be unreasonable. This is really simple. So I like fighting the devil with them to get exactly and that you look right at the right way, just put it in office. This example wants to fight, so don't lie. It's long before you're asking for the picture what he wants, what he really wants. It's nothing to do with it.
At Shared University, we help students find the goals of those of what is afraid to do this. All three pieces and education rather than counseling. So all of us can describe them.
You're not borrowing $1 instead of $10 million. You're going to give you $100 million because that was still from this last body is just it. I have no idea what that is. It's the root of it is they might see that one might have fixed in you and after it's going to see it. When you start to tell you, you give the opportunity to basically using evidence to turn it around. Any factors, put your hands on that. You can't prove that. I can, but I ask you to handle this white wire. He's going to say to Janice, you get the technology and the good, right? You don't know that you'll go Ollie versus Wisconsin. Well, you're going to mention what we're doing. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to drop the suit, publicly admit to Ollie and pay us. This will cost my clients $1. Yeah, but it's better than being straight to something else. Tell you, being able to dignified way out. Janice was really first friends. If it doesn't get a bang, I got the third accepted. When that happens, then too late. Souvenir incoming. Wait, how the hell did you get the players from there? Because I know what I'm doing. He literally dived into the beach, gets the dish from the rough, not even a stroke penalty. I don't know, dog. Well, I know it's more bullshit. Using bullshit moves again. No, I didn't even touch it. You don't touch shit, it's already broken. You have no desire to fix anything. Did you guys see my awesome shot? Oh man, it's just the goal. Really that high. Get out of here. Nice and slow, Joe. Nice and slow. Genuinely surprised to me. Look at that, plus 2 to Joe, and you guys all have the letter E for no rules in the car. Whatever, I still have 6 points. You have 4, but we've got. Bill, that's not how. All right, sorry, sons of bitches. Time for the coaches for work.
You guys have the Christmas break, ask Santa what optional. And get those just there's comfort in preparing for higher education, help you in your journey. It'll stick with you in the rest of your life.
Only one inbound for hitting the not only they get the green on the shot, I'll make Bill resign and make it a to no more. What? No. I'm back. All right, Jim, make you all salivate after each shot. I mean, Bill's already true. No, I am not. What's the actual shot? No food for you, fucking for you. There you go. We're literally putting it on the dimension shit. Yeah. Exactly, like why are you doing this? Because I'm superior to the head. If this was the real deal, you all would have been swept off your feet by my majestic God. Don't get the brain. Fuck off. Way to go, Stuart, you couldn't hit a golf ball in real life in fucking over. Barely missed the white my journey. Well, hopefully you'll get to see it again if all is whatever. Shut up and let me put it too far right up there. But, James, your son has had a longer life story in the casino. You're talking about. Can we see these glasses? Oh, that's time to think. Like 37. Oh. At least we're still on the green. Your hair looks more real since video game. Hold on, good guys. Don't put this. This is a tough shot. Fuck all of you. We still got 2 more holes to be ready to do. Oh no, Donald and I are tied with the most points. All right, gentlemen, our next hole will be hole 50. Mark 5, you getting 3 here, guaranteed. Why you care about the days? Wait, I want an eagle. Look at that, just keep rolling and rolling. Still got over 2 football teams to go. Football, what the hell, I thought we were playing field hockey. What are they doing first? It's just field hockey. Good. So we do the feedback. They're going back to what they're saying. We haven't told it. They're using hockey sticks, playing on the field. Only difference is the goal is way smaller. Can you guys please stop talking during my backstory? They cannot be in the backstory when we are talking. George, I have a legitimate question. I think you have a legitimate question. Please, no golf etiquette from any of you. Went from fringe to fringe and back-to-back shots. That's pretty impressive, Mr. Obama. It was first time, I guess you could say this has been an abomination. But I'm just not going to have silence during my swing, am I? Anyway, what was your question, Don? Can I wait until I'm done? No. My question was to get willing to run by himself to keep the family first. You're talking about my brother, yeah? No, I'm talking about you wrong. Damn fair justice, don't do it. Be more for the line. That's because we realize things all over somebody. So I got to listen to the county jump and take it to the finally, y'all see that puck? Yeah, amateur. According to Wikipedia, it's sitting in the race single digits. That really did jump off of me on fire with the funds today. George, look out and shoot. Nice guy, like something. They all almost got it, that kid. I'll take this. You're too close to the edge of the fairway. Those plants will hurt you. Not as much as you get hurt on it. You're going to hit the tree somewhere. Oh, you're pounding sand. Oh, for doing for this. It's like that. Don't you always drop out in the center. If you make this putt, I won't get a spray can for a whole month. Just didn't have the number. But that's the straight up 50 to the underscore. You got this, Jordan? I should have told those stuff. Finally, my turn. All right, Bill, remember not to slip the talking about. Good, let me focus. Yes. No, it must stop it, Donald. You're at the bottom of the score to build that defensive big tackle. You guys are hot garbage. You know my mind how we keep that up. Okay, one, you're at the bottom of the score. Two, your thoughts have been going as far as enough. That's because the overall in my player is that. Pretty sure we're on the same level on us. Yes, we are. Defensive spot that. Donald, stop with the dog line. Goes to the end of action. Just on the other side. Great job, Bill. 40-15. If Joe gets anything less than par, and it's obvious that he's an issue with the game. Fuck it, Bill. We got a birdie, Bill. A birdie? Damn it, I wanted the freaking eagle. Doesn't go easy on this guaranteed albatross here. Barry, what is an albatross? Damn it, Joe. Albatross, Joe, it's a double eagle. Wait, we can win 2 eagles. There's no eagles to be won. It's a golf stuff. And you guys please step the hell out from under my back. That would have been 400 yards to him, but it's just not coming to top. What the rest of that? Bounce off the green, you're going to hit the flagpole and drop it in the hole. Okay. Good. You know what, Joe? At least I can sense that. Maybe it's very let me use my own personal club. You know what, Joe? That's it. Everyone, please excuse Donald and his tip perform. I didn't ask for the Militants to assign this player to clubs and defenders. Wow, that was a trophy. So, the whole return. All right, it's fine. Silly Donald, you're supposed to get it in the hole, not now. This crowd needs to shut the fuck up. So, you got some silence? Careful now. Shut up. Waiting for my whole laboratory. We're not joking with it. All right, you guys ready for the best hole of golf? I'm ready for you to try one. I am Luke's kid, Joe, and I'm here to share how not in 2024, 2024, what's happening now. You're running for a second term. The president, Kamala, to do all that. Yeah, I can't complain. Solid got a good. Yeah, if you can get it, that means no practice. Just better Donald. That's class with it. You've been doing that all day. Might be fooling, Barry. Because Donald's screwed me up. Guess I'll have to settle for +1 and hope you know truck just as much and more than I can. Okay, watch this, Bill. Not too far, you ain't hitting that much. Donald, your front game is the fifth forward, so I'm going to tone it down to this track. Go ahead. Donald. Oh, you're being a real asshole, Donald. No, quit being a baby, John. Well, there it looks like you're looking. Yeah, we got the exact same scorecard. Yeah, we got that 3 by the second one.
I was giving it a something. It's not I was.
It's about to be clean. It's down. All right, if I get a birdie, I'll be with you. You got this, Joe. Oh, come on. Oh, bro. Watch out. You Joe got a hold of that. Donald, that was a good food tasting. What? I fucking don't do it. What do you want me to do? Let me not rip what I want you to do. No, that's just bad for you. Hey, that's foul. That'll be good.
So this is going to be a weird video. It's not necessarily a Canadians post-game video. The game happened yesterday. The Habs lost 5-2 to the Calgary Flames. But instead of just talking about the game per se, I wanted to go over some numbers. I wanted to go over some extra tidbits and just kind of compile it all. into one video over here. Because as you can see, the Montreal Canadiens lost 5-2 yesterday to the Calgary Flames. But when it comes to the stories of the game, the 5-2 loss itself was like third or fourth fiddle in regards to what Canadiens fans were talking about. Now, I'd say the biggest thing that Canadiens fans discussed yesterday during this 5-2 Canadiens loss was the absence of head coach Martin St. Louis, who announced that he will be away from the team for family-related reasons. There was a press release posted on the Montreal Canadiens website. It's a very short update. It just says this. The Canadiens announced on Saturday that head coach Martin St. Louis will be away from the team indefinitely for family reasons. Assistant coach Trevor Lachowski will resume head coaching duties during St. Louis' absence. And I didn't want to make a video about this because this is such little information to go off of, and the press release came right before the game. I didn't think it would be a good business decision to talk about this before the Canadiens game kicked off. But then we had ourselves some word from David Savard that went out there and kind of indicated what's going on here. He kind of let it slip up during the intermission here. After he scored a goal, he said, we're going to try to win for his son. So that's all that we have learned about Martin St. Louis. And the funny part is, like, after David Savard said this, if you go over to Elite Prospects, like, all of St. Louis' kids were trending on Elite Prospects the day after. And, okay, they're still kind of there. You got Ryan St. Louis, Mason St. Louis, and Lucas St. Louis all trending on EP. But yesterday, after the comments was made by David Savard, these three St. Louis kids were all 1, 2, 3 on the Elite Prospects trending players. So that, of course, kind of indicates where the Canadiens fans' heads are at. But either way, Martin St. Louis is out for an indefinite period of time. I didn't want to talk about that in the video by itself because I didn't say that it would be kind of, appropriate to do that. But other than the Martin St. Louis absence, we did have ourselves a few extra notes about...
Well, why is playing center?
Game obviously had a close Caulfield goal, which is good to see. He had 7 shots, so he's still going out there and putting pucks on goal. But he did score finally for the first time in a long time. And with this Cole Caulfield goal being put up on the board, you have yourself Sportsnet stats that went out there and tweeted this. Cole Caulfield is the first Canadian player with 3 straight 20-goal seasons to 89-90. And, a lot of the replies are kind of cynical about, it's a weak game, yes, he scored, but it was a pretty weak game, and I guess there are some other things that we can be happy about when we talk about the Cole Caulfield veteran. Here's another tweet that illuminates the same point made by StatCenter on Sportsnet, or not Sportsnet, excuse me, TSN StatCenter. Here are the most career 20-goal seasons before age 24 among players in Canadian franchise history. You've got Stéphane Richer, who is number 1. Number 2 is a tie between Vernon Boom Boom and Guy Lafleur. Cole Caulfield ties Henri Richard and Claude Lemieux for, 4th overall with 3, and then with 2 20-goal seasons, there are 13 others that are tied. So Cole Caulfield has literally tied the pocket rocket, which I think is a pretty good piece of news and something that Canadiens fans should be pretty happy about, considering they were both the same size, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Henri Richard was pretty small himself, also 5'7", so hey, pretty nice link there between the pocket rocket, the most decorated Stanley Cup winning NHL person of all time, and Cole Caulfield, who was also 5'7", a bit heavier than the pocket rocket was, though, so that's interesting to see. There's a lot of people that are going out there talking about Caulfield and his production. He's on pace for 24 goals this season and 64 points, which, he's already got a career high in points this year, but realistically, I think the biggest thing that people should note about Cole Caulfield is the fact that people need to recover from the shoulder surgery earlier on in the offseason. The fact is, there was always going to be an extended period of recovery for Caulfield in regards to his shoulder. And a lot of people are kind of prepared for it. Some were saying, he's not going to be the same. He's going to have to wait a little bit before he's fully back up to this 26-goal and 46-game profile, this 40-goal per season profile that he was exhibiting earlier in his career. Because now, he's only on pace for 24 goals on the season, which is okay for a 23-year-old forward, but it's not really acceptable in the minds of many Canadians fans when you acknowledge what Caulfield has been capable of doing in the past. He's a young guy. He's still getting everything fixed up. Remember when Austin Matthews had some of those same surgery proceedings, and it took a little while to get back up to 60, 70 goal form? Well, I don't think Matthews had shoulder surgery. He had wrist surgery, but he had shoulder injuries as well. And I think the same thing is sort of applying here at Caulfield, where it's like, you kind of have to recognize that even though these careers of running after it's not like he's going to be at 100% just yet. He's got to get comfortable with that shoulder. And heading into next season and beyond, I think that's when we can really start to see Cole Caulfield shooting a lot better. He was at a 7% shooting percentile this year, which is not good, especially for Caulfield's sake. But he has become a lot more of a playmaker this season as well, which I think bodes very good thing to think about the bigger picture. So for Cole Caulfield, he's literally tied Henri Richard, and that's a pretty good thing to pay attention to. We also had ourselves some other things to talk about in regards to the Canadiens' first line. The hot-stop line has been one of the NHL's best since the All-Star break. Now, this trade technically was from a week ago, March 9th, 2024, but it's still been out there in the league some pretty good things. Caulfield, Suzuki, and Slavkovsky, this told the Trees publication with a second-best line in the NHL, that's 5v5. Very funny how the top line happens to be a Pedro, Jenner, and Rosevich. Rosevich is no longer in Columbus. But better than Draisaitl and David Hyman, better than Rodney for Tim Lettland, better than Kaprizov, Eriksson, and Boldy. This Caulfield, Suzuki, Slavkovsky line has been very good. And even yesterday, we saw ourselves getting another goal.
Size first NHL goal? Oh my god, it was.
So good to see the young guys doing their thing. So we talked about in yesterday's video how the Canadians have such a good first line, but if you're able to round out the rest of your lineup and your top 10 six with young guys in the same age range, then that could be the ultimate formula to becoming golden and Stanley Cup championship caliber contending in the next few years. Of course, though, we recognize that the Canadians are not a Stanley Cup championship contending team right now, but hey, that doesn't matter. Things like this will go out there and potentially help them up because, hey, yesterday was an incredible day for the Canadians.
Sign your 3-year contract, $1 million.
Points away from the bottom 4, and they're 1 point away from the bottom 5, and tied with Ottawa in points percentage. Keep this trend going just a bit longer. So even things like the Habitant are going out there and saying, yeah, no, it's okay if they lose. That's totally fine. We're going with the tank. If you want to check that tank, it's on right now. The Montreal Canadiens have themselves what is the 6th best lottery odds of getting first overall. They've got a 7.5% chance at getting Matt Boone celebrating. Now, sure, San Jose has the number 1 opportunity with 25.5%, Chicago 7-2, and Anaheim 3. But if the Canadiens just keep on losing, I mean, they're tied with Arizona right now, and they're slightly better than 10%. So there's a realistic chance that if the Canadiens keep on losing out, they could get overtaken by Arizona and Columbus. I'd say that Anaheim is a little bit too far in the league. 49 points for Anaheim. Montreal has 61, so that's a difference of 12. You know, I think it's really Arizona and Columbus that the Canadiens could start to lose and get behind if they keep on continuing to, you know, tank, quote unquote. These other teams here in the top 3, I don't think that's really attainable at this point. It's a little too far-fetched. But hey, if the Canadiens are able to lose out and get up to 9.5% at getting Macklin celebrating, that's totally all right. And if you wanted to take a look at what other players the Canadiens could get, who they not get celebrating, then hey, this is the Wild One Series. We've been talking about this all year, going over prospects eligible in the 2024 NHL Entry Draft. So, hey, if you're a Canadiens fan and you want to see some extra content for these draft prospects, go ahead and take a look at this. But for now, there's thoughts on the concept in the other person about the news that Martin St. Louis had been speaking to the league with absence from the team for family reasons. Of course, we wish the best to St. Louis and family. We want to see everything come back healthy, properly, and well. So thoughts in the comment section about Martin St. Louis, thoughts in the comment section as well about the pocket rocket, the Cole Caulfield record going out there and tying what was Henri Richard and his Number 10, White Rock Lake Park, Dallas. In 1943, the story of the ghost of White Rock was published in the Texas folklore publications Backwoods the Border. The story goes that there was a young couple who was looking for somewhere they could be alone. They drove down a deserted road and parked on the shore of the lake. When they turned their headlights on, they saw someone walking towards them. A woman dressed in a white beard dress was soaking wet, was coming closer and closer to their car. Concerned, they asked the woman if she was all right, and the woman then spoke and said, "I'm sorry to intrude, and I would not under any other circumstances, but I must find a way home immediately. My phone overturned. The others are safe, but I must get home." The girl agreed to take her home, and she gave them an address not too far away. As they drove off, the driver turned back to ask for some directions, but the backseat was empty and soaking wet. When they arrived at the address the woman gave them, the man answered the door. And when he was told what happened, he replied, "You were the third couple who's coming into this story. 3 weeks ago, while staying on White Rock Lake, my daughter left. Many sightings have been reported since." Number 9. The movie and Galaxy. Before I get to the next entry, make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the video time. It's really the most within content. But what was known as the movie and show is the Willis. Built for Cecil Willis in 1895, this 31-room mansion boasts a Romanesque architecture with ornate features like stained glass windows and hand-carved woodwork. The dimension of the house to be built against her late husband's wishes at his past, spending the family inheritance in the process, something her 10 children did not appreciate. Unfortunately, she didn't get to live there long because she passed away in 1899, and it was then purchased by the movies. In 1900, a hurricane destroyed much of Galveston and took the lives of some 6,000 people. So strangely, the mansion stayed standing, untouched. Perhaps it was the ghost of Narcissa keeping her lives safe. Visitors to the house constantly report facing that spectral entities showing up in photographs taken in the house, prompting paranormal investigators to come here to do research. Number 8. San Fernando Cathedral.
Oh, really?
Cathedral, only to disappear soon after. It said that the horse was a gift from an active tribe that was refused to be killed. Other ghosts that walked around include that of a man dressed in black clothes from the 18th century who follows tours and then suddenly disappears, as well as those of monks we've seen and heard standing at the back of the pews during the services. Number 7. Demons Road in Huntsville. Formerly known as Bowling Road, this seldom traveled dirt road is creepy enough without the ghost going. It's overgrown and mistaken trees, and in the dark seems like something right out of a forest. But there's at least one notable here who haunts travelers who fear from through. A boy on a tricycle is blown up. It's been reported by many people right down the road. He appears in the middle of the road and stares down so you approach him. And what you do, a thick fall rises from the ground to the There's one more story about Beacons Road that I found super interesting. Two friends heard that the road was haunted and decided to check it out for themselves. And as they approached down into the middle of the night, the trees seemed to shift. Then they watched the destination of the end of Beacons Road. It just so happened.
Come on, boys, we gotta fucking make this.
Number 6. Martha Chapel Cemetery. When the two men drove up to the cemetery, which was named after the first person who was buried there, Martha Palmer, Lewis was piercing through the clouds and lighting on its stones and epitaphs before them. They both got to practically bruised and for the cemetery. So when the driver decided to point them on like the graves, a skeletal head burst from the ground, grabbing at his ankle and dragging him against the dirt. His friend and passenger ran over to help, kicking like a zombie-like arm and dragging him away. After he was freed, the driver called out for them to escape, and when he got back to his car, he looked back, but didn't see his friend who supposedly just saved his life. He was actually still sitting in the passenger seat, asleep, and as he peeled out and drove back down the road, his passenger slumped over into his lap. And the driver realized that his friend had died. Allegedly, he passed away from a heart attack while the driver was to cemetery. And in 2018, a video surfaced from someone who was exploring Google Street View of the area. He saw a ghostly image appear inside the cemetery. A creepy, pale face of a boy with suspended tree in one eye.
We're pretty darn inspector, let's go.
There was also a word black figure in the background that did not exist.
I don't trust Holper. I don't trust Schmid. Damn it.
Palace rooms, Fort Worth's first bed and breakfast. Miss Molly has had quite a history. During Prohibition, it became a speakeasy called the Oasis. In the 1940s, it became a brothel known as the Guyette Hotel. And after that was shut down, Miss Molly's. There have been many reports of unwanted guests appearing here, most notably those of David Cowboy and Trixie Poole, the former madam of the brothel, both of whom are seen as full-body apparitions. Workers and visitors alike have witnessed them walking through locked doors, ghost seen from either disappearing and reappearing in random places, and strangely came to be neatly organized in certain rooms. In room 3, index numbers of men appeared in room 7 sitting on them.
So Brosco.
I think Little Richard said that. This was Alex. Number 4, the Road. This house, built in 1861, has had many owners over the years, and most would agree that the place is cursed. Since its construction, most of the owners of the house have experienced some sort of tragedy. The original owner lost his top back due to a freak flood, and a lynch mob committed 4 more atrocities on the property, where 4 freed slaves were brutalized and hung from the freaks on the property. The spirits of these men are said to be the most active spirits on the property. Later owners saw multiple family members take their own lives on the property, and some developed rare diseases. The spirits here are quite restless, and there are reports abound of folks flying off shelves, mirrors established, voices telling people to do horrible things to themselves, and full-on ghostly apparitions that appear and disappear. All of these things show that the road definitely belongs on the field. Number 3, the Black Swan San Antonio. There is no relation to the 2010 film here, but the strange happenings have messed up people's minds just as much as Natalie Portman's character. The land that the Indian never stands on has major ties to indigenous peoples from some 7,000 years ago. It is also a former battle site for the war between the Texan and Mexican armies of 1842. About 35 years later, a dairy farm was founded on the land by the German Indians. The blood-soaked soil here seems to be a bad place to build, as tragedy struck many who lived on the land. The farmer's wife passed away from cancer she developed before it happened. And 2 years later, he decided to go by taking his own life. Soon after, the property was purchased by the 2 families and renamed to Locations. However, at the age of 38, one of the owners still in the street also passed away from cancer, and like the owners before them, her husband hung himself in the bedroom. Ian and now Stan has had reports of the spirits of the former owners wandering the homes with their necks broken, pushing guests onto their beds, and generally getting themselves ill. No matter which way you slice it, this property seems cursed. Number 2, the Hill House, Mineral Spring. In part 2, I talked about the haunted Baker Hotel in Mineral Spring, but it seems that the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, because just behind the Baker Hotel lies one of the most haunted places in Texas, the Hill House. Many people stay in this house attempting to witness paranormal activity, and most of them get more than they target for, and don't make it through the rest without being certified. The owners of the house who purchased it in 2016. When you're covered for therapy to conquer your anxiety.
Ooh.
You can ask.
You're second. Wow, nice. And we get your fifth hit too. Okay. My prospect pool is growing. I like that.
Knowing its private history, rented out to individuals and paranormal research schools looking to witness something terrifying. Apparently, about 50% of them, including the professionals, leave within the first night. This is due to a spirit or entity that resides here known as Toby, who growls loudly in your ear to get out, knocks things over, slams the doors, and even gets violent. Videos show all sorts of terrible things happening to people who stay here, like a woman who's taunting the spirits and trying to make something happen.
Oh, shit.
And when she returned a year later, for some reason, she was scratched by something invisible in the room so badly that blood leaked through her shirt. Whoever Toby is, it seems like he doesn't want anyone else to come into his house and will do anything.
Damn you.
The other one, Old Town Spring. Well, the rest of the entries on this list and my other 2 videos have some terrifying places.
Oh, fuck. I need to grab, I need to snag him.
And some even say curse. Allegedly, in the 1700s, a curse was passed.
Oh, I don't need to worry about trading because
people who sold their land to build their things. And this curse has followed the town all through history, continuing to this today. Every building in this small town has a haunting story. And I'll share a few things now, but I encourage you to look this up because there are so many more that I just can't get to today. The One Hall House was built in 1895. And it's since been converted into a funeral home, and they have a special
basically the same fire.
The ghost room, where the spirits of the dead who haunt the building find their side. Figures are seen walking through the door, dancing on the balcony, and further. One of the previous owners decided to renovate the room and experienced both violent
Another playmaker.
and it took years.
A potential replacement killer.
There are two unique clauses in the lease agreement for the building. The ghost room is not to be disturbed, and you can't break the lease due to a haunting. The buildings in town can be seen with trees.
Yep, that's not a problem. I did take that cut. Medium lead goes in there, yep.
Placed upon the town ensures that if anyone cut down any trees, they would experience a terrible fire. And this has happened inexplicably many times to many different buildings in the town, and some quite recent. There is also a pending tree where the judge sentenced more than 60 people to death, which is an insane rate even by the standards of any time. And the old ice house, which was used to store corpses waiting to be sent to funeral homes, has a heavy energy, and everything goes quiet when it gets there. And it's burned down countless times. You know, with all of these creepy things going on throughout the years, it is no wonder people think Old Cabin Spring is cursed. And the no-brainer that it ended up #1 on this list. And it might even be about the #1 for part 1 and 2. Let me know what you think in the comments below.
Serving us all at number 10, the May Dale. She calls the Beauregard Fairy Dale. It opened in 1915 and it was actually kind of a big deal because it had extraordinary amenities for a Dale. Each cell had a window and bathroom, and cells on the top floor even had style. But despite its beautiful architecture, it was also the site of Louisiana's first double execution. In 1926, 2 men were committed after killing and robbing a taxi driver and sentenced to be hanged. They claimed innocence, but still the verdict passed, and the 2 men died in the jail, giving it its infamous name. It remained open until 1981, and now a museum is believed to be haunted by the 2 men, along with other inmates who thought they were unjustly put behind bars. Many have reported being pushed or hearing voices while visiting, and some have even captured photos of strange, inexplicable shadowy figures lurking on the porch and window, leaving no other explanation than to assume the jail remains a haunted and terrifying place to visit. Starting in number 9, Pleasant Hall. This story has 2 versions, so I will let you decide which one you think is true. Once upon a time, while attending Louisiana State University, a resident tragically took her life in the now infamous room 312. One story says the girl killed her boyfriend in a fit of rage and then shot her ashes. Took her own life because she could not live with what she had done. The other story claims the girl jumped out of the window of her room and fell to her impending doom. Terrifying scenes on campus that witnessed the horrifying stuff. But which one really happened? Well, it seems that it's the part person wants. Police expected the door to room 312 will open and shut all on its own. Coming in at number 8, St. Louis Cemetery, number 1. Regarded as the city of the dead, the St. Louis Cemetery, number 1, told more ghost stories than you'd watch a chapter in a lifetime. In a span of a mere block, the cemetery has over 700 tombs and over 100,000 bodies are known to be buried at the site. Most famously, it is the burial site of Queen Marie Laveau, the most revered and feared practitioner in New Orleans history. Reports of her ghost hunt detail her in her signature red and white turret and claims she will suddenly appear out of the and then dead at the same silent dust of size. Visitors have experienced change, stunning, suddenly becoming ill, and even hearing her talking voice echo across the cemetery, sending many that come there to visit suddenly in the hills. So just be careful if you choose to stop up. If you aren't careful, she can curse you for life. Next up at number 7, the California Courthouse. The history of capital punishment is a court one, and as it turns out, this courthouse is actually based for Dustin Down. Back in the 1940s, there was a woman named Tony Joe Houston. She was always tumultuous legends involved in just at the local brothel. But one day, she fell in love with a man who visited her establishment in Flying Country, and so they got married and started to live personal life around charges. Claude was sent to jail for 50 years for killing someone. Something inside him snapped. He planned to buy Claude out of jail with a friend, but in the process of stealing the car, killed the owner and left him in a ditch. He was caught and sentenced to death and become the first ever woman to be executed by the electric chair in the ECS. Instead, her spirit still haunts the courthouse, walking doors and messing around with the filing systems during the day. But steer clear at night, and residents report you can smell her burning hair and hear her unruly screams echoing through the streets. Number 6, Pea Farm. Nicknamed the Pea Farm, it is not actually a farm, nor is it a company. Peas. It is, however, an old prison. The facility was in operation between National Farm in 1950, and rumor has it that life was incredibly rough and difficult at the Pea Farm for prisoners. Even more so than in the small prison. Feeding and latching were common things, and even killing a prisoner was nothing to bat an eye. So it's no surprise that those like may have ended their attempts separate, maybe trying to seek revenge on those who hurt us. Today's prison is strictly off limits to visitors, but those that once have reported heard streets and other strange noises coming from inside the abandoned building. You know what's allowed for visitation. Next up, number 5, Bobby and Clyde Anderson. Maybe you've heard of the infamous couple, but not easy to have it. They were notorious bank robbers across Louisiana, Texas during the Great Depression in America and made quite a name for themselves. In recent years, it has been suggested their exploits were exaggerated, but one thing that wasn't is how they died. The day was May 23rd, 1934, and police from both Louisiana and Texas managed to corner them in their stolen car. Authorities fired more than 100 bullets at the couple, and as the story goes, you can hear Bonnie scream when the next time's over. Residents claim that you visit the site of the death, the ghosts of a couple who make themselves well known. Apparitions have shown in photographs, and some have proof of this belief they saw scream as she took her last breath officer. Coming to number 4, Otis Town. Once a haunted cottage, it was one of the largest plantations in Louisiana. And just like every other of its kind, it has a dark past. Since its dark days, it has turned into a bed and breakfast and a historical site, but the people that were tortured remain haunting the ground and terrorizing visitors. Numerous accounts have claimed to hear unexplained sounds like blood-curdling screams in the middle of the night, or the sound of a horse-drawn carriage walking along the path. Some visitors have even experienced being touched or grabbed by an unseen entity, and one investigator got so scared he dropped his camera while trying to capture a spirit. Paranormal investigators have managed to capture several DVDs that indicate unhappy ghosts lingering the property, and though no one has been purchasing here yet, turn carefully as you never know just when to set the spirit off. Coming in at number 3, Alice's grave. Alice died in the 19th century, and although she had a fairly normal life while alive, her death worth anything but expected. She was raised to rest in a above-ground grave, but soon after, the townspeople began to question whether the grave haunted or worse, was Alice a witch. She legend goes, in the middle of the next, a large slab of marble covering her grave was removed on 3 separate occasions, and each time her remains were left outside the grave. No one stepped forward to say to remove Alice or the slab, which left people believe that Alice was a witch trying to escape her grave and haunting house. Eventually, large iron bars were placed over the grave in an attempt to hold the spirit inside, but this doesn't seem to stop her as local you can still see her wandering the cemetery at night. But just exactly what is she looking for? That is one of the many unanswered questions that we visitors terrified. I'm sure if she comes in peace or if she is out for revenge. Next up at number 2, the Manhattan Swamp. While many are familiar with the legendary priestess Marie Laveau, she was not the only one of her time. Julia Brown was a well-respected healer and midwife who resided in a small village called Grenier. First, she loved caring for her neighbors, but after some time, she started to feel disrespected by the community, feeling as though they were taking her gifts for granted. Julia began scaring the village, telling them dooming predictions about their impending deaths. And the townspeople, unsure if she was placing a curse or foretelling their future, became very troubled. Shortly before her own death, she said, "One day I'm going to die and I'm going to take all he did." And just days after she was buried, 3 entire villages were destroyed by a hurricane. hundreds of lives and lost. To this day, the spirits of Julia were the small, and visitors have reported hearing blood-curdling screams and the sound of her voice singing cryptic and frightening songs, terrifying all those that dare walk by. And last up in our number one spot, La Louisiana Mansion. Arguably one of the most infamous buildings in all of Louisiana, La Louisiana Mansion was once home to cruel and torturous Madame Delphine. Even in her time, she was regarded as a monster and was known to have her slaves taken from her on more than one occasion due to their outrageous mistreatment. In 1834, a fire broke out in her mansion, and when police and fire marshals arrived at the site, they found one of her slaves chained to a stove, claiming to have started the fire to try and take her own life to escape the wolves. Another 7 victims were found in her head, suspended from the ceiling, mutilated and barely alive, speeding to happen in their own life. Once news broke out of the Philippines, citizens attacked the house and demolished everything they could. While the original building no longer stands, the grounds and spit-offs are some of the most haunted in all of Louisiana, as it's believed nearly 100 people lost their lives under Madame Delphine's cruel supervision. Visitors have reported feeling the buckling touches of ghostly hands, and the media that visited stated that there is a very dark demonic entity that resides within the building's walls. So just tread carefully should you choose to visit. The spirits that live there are not too thrilled by visitors in their home.
Picking off the list at number 10, room 206. This gives me Stephen King 1408 vibes, and I'm not sure that you're ready. Next time you visit Florida, make sure you read every customer review before you check into a hotel. Some of them might be full of ghosts, and they just might have to deal with. Room 206 after Super on International Drive. Apparently, it's super haunted. Yes, I reported that that's shaking in the middle of the night, probably terrible for your sleep, or a freezing cold air, even though you can't see it's burning off. And worst of all, yes, you see their bed, look at somebody sleeping there from the floor. You don't know, you could be thinking, right before they sat there, have a ghost squad, is that legal? There's a couple of spirit squatters in that room. Telling you, stubborn up, Disney on ice. Many families must have been aware of their time of year. These parks there are spectacular, especially Disney World. I went once when I was younger, but no, I don't recall ever seeing a real-life Walt Disney. I don't know. Maybe it had something to do with the fact that he died in 1966. Who knows? But never say never. One of Orlando's books tales that Walt Disney had his body cryogenically frozen after his death. Right now, apparently, it's being stored in a bunker underneath the theme park. I mean, that's a bit more creative to be cremated. I'll give them that. I mean, Walt Disney them just free themselves forever. A grad from the University of Central Florida Film School, Benjamin Lancaster, they actually made a film of this whole idea called The Further Adventures Walt Frozen Head. That's a family classic from the set. Number 8. Scarlett O'Hara. You're going to need the 2 pieces of ID for this next one, alright? Perhaps the most haunted bar in Florida, located in St. Augustine, Scarlett O'Hara is haunted by its past owner. Many believe that spirit might make itself known. Yes, that's always fun to try to figure out behind you. Now you got a ghoul in front of you. That spirit is one of George Foley. Now, George sadly bit the bullet one night when he was in the staff. So now, we have a series of unexplainable events. When you say glasses will sometimes move across the bar of their own, the jukebox, when it's company Rhonda, even when it's unplugged. So that's absolutely terrifying. If you want to check it out now, you need one with the full unforced at this point. But if you go, you can pose alongside the same bathtub that George Polly died in. Yes, how lovely is that? I'm going to get you one. Now, even better, Scarlett O'Hara, guess who it was? Number 7, stranded in a house. You don't want to be stranded at the stranded in a house. Getting bad news. Fort Lauderdale has a few haunted hidden gems, and the oldest house just happens to be the most haunted. What do you know? What odds are that? What odds are that? What are those odds? There we go. The house's OG owner was Frank Stranahan, and today, since it's the old stomping grounds, well, we might catch Frank in a photo or two. It's said that Frank still oversees the place and regularly shows up and gets photos. Those ghosts like photo bombs, it's pretty basic, kind of like that. As opposed to being trapped in the same house for all of eternity, probably got full board time to time. Just pop into a photo, throw the peace signs up, and then disappear back into the wall. I can and Frank's late wife. He also needs this airport too. Nice and true on this spot, this stays house forever. Guess that's all these full hands on their shoulders. the perfume still lingers in the hallway. Must have been some good, strong stuff. Nice. Now, it's not all fun and games. A trusted friend, a.k.a. Frank's father, well, his ghost likes to thrill the books. Really aggressive, so heads up for that again. Here we go. Cheers. Number 6, the Plaza Resort and Spa. Ah, yes, it's back in the last with ghosts. Just what you want. You're never alone. Again, that's the fun night. The Plaza Resort and Spa sounds like a relaxing destroyed by fire in 1909. And current staff will testify that they see the ghosts of victims caught in that place. How they know? I have no idea, but apparently they do know. A lot of details for one ghost experience. One of the most common sightings includes a woman whose spirit is known to mess with the elevator and make items in the kitchen disappear. They really said a lot wasn't for sure and just fully stealing food. He's like, oh yeah, I don't know. They got a ghost take that you came Bob. I don't know, stuff. Number 5, the Blue Anchor Pub. Another bar, another pot is golden. Hey, here we go. Debit or credit. Heading over to Delray Beach, the Blue Anchor Pub was built in the 1840s in London, but the wooden interior was sent to New York City, and then later on sent to Florida in 1996. So yeah, these spirits must be confused. They go from Jack the Ripper, some dude wearing a Yankee hat, talking to your teeth. Trapped in the wooden interior is the ghost of one Bertha Starkey, who was sadly killed by her husband back in the 1840s. Now, your person is lurking about, you can hear rattling pots in the kitchen, and sometimes if you're really unlucky, you'll hear wailing in the middle of the night. Nice. Again, formal sleep at this place. The Blue Anchor sounds like a really relaxing spot, but every night at 10 o'clock, the current owners will blast a shit horn to scare away the spirit. I don't know, I feel like wearing a shit horn at 10 p.m. is more jarring than some pots and pans moving sometimes. You know what I mean? I'd rather hear the pots and pans than there's a little bit, no way. Number 4, the Biltmore Hotel. Another hotel to avoid at all costs. Awesome, we love these ones. First of all, do you actually like staying at a hotel? Some people love it, some people find it super relaxing. I can't help but think about what went on in the bed before, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, why is part of the bed a little bit pieced in? What's going on here? Every time you're in a hotel, I have to work screens that I can't sleep at all. The Biltmore Hotel in the city of Coral Gables. It's also one of the most haunted hotels in Florida. You've probably heard of it at some point. It all started in 1926 during initial construction. The Biltmore witnessed its found pillars at 13th floor. 13th floor was all floors, my God. The Biltmore was also furnished a military hotel during World War II before ultimately being closed and then abandoned later in 1968. Now, the city renovated the hotel later on in the 80s, but it didn't take long for ghost stories to start to spread. This horrible path to make for the fair. Now, of course, the most activity is on the 13th floor, so you can check this one out. Really double down, go to the 100th floor, you know, don't just look outside and then book. Go in, see that. I can't believe some buildings don't have a 13th floor. Can you imagine that? Well, they do, but everyone pretends they don't, you know what I mean? They're like, yeah, it's 12. Are you a 13th floor believer? Comment down below. Me personally, I don't think so. There's the 14th, or the 12th. So 13th, I'm not just much know that. There's 11, 12, 14. You're like, really? What's the 14? You know what's going on here. Come on. Number 3. Tampa Theater. If you guys follow the theater picture, you'll love this place. Here we go. Tampa Theater opened up in 1926. The theater is now said, of course, to be haunted by a woman that was drugged and killed by a carrot on the property. Imagine by a carrot. So as well. This is actually before the theater was built, so the spirit has been there for a while. If you go to Tampa Theater today, you might catch a glimpse of that woman in a white gown walking across the mezzanine hallway. This time without the characters, but the characters hopefully not characters. Imagine telling somebody in front of you to sit down during a show and you disappear. You're like, I think that was a ghost. I think that was probably a ghost. Doesn't play those shows, so it'll be on there. Tampa Theater, of course, has remixed these claims. Now they offer Ghosts of Tampa Theater Tour for guests to learn about its haunted history. I'd love to do this tour. I don't know. Maybe I'll go to Florida. Yeah. Number 2, Key West Cemetery. A cemetery that's haunted. Get out of town. You don't say. The Beachside Cemetery was built in 1847. Now, it was built specifically for victims of a hurricane that occurred a year prior in 1846. That's terrible. Now, the cemetery is the final resting place for roughly 80,000 to 100,000 people. So, yeah, I can only assume there's a ghost or two hanging out. That's extremely tragic. Walking through the graveyard at night is scary enough any time. The Key West Cemetery is so specific that the entire time you're walking through, you feel that day. Now, me personally, I'm all set. I don't want to feel
expected to an 1846 tragedy. I'm all set. I'll go the long way around the cemetery and I'll meet you on the other side, if anything. But if you're into this kind of thing, they also offer a field tour, so don't be thought out there. Apparently it's too scary for children, so I'm a plus. Mine would be a little shorter than usual. And finally, number one, St. Augustine's Lighthouse. Before, and it's considered Florida's first official lighthouse ever. Imagine that. Little bit of light. Hey, maybe you're a lighthouse. You're like, well, here's down. There have been several tragic events over the following years. The Legends, the first lighthouse ever. We've seen a lot of history. But even during initial construction, there were several freak accidents on site. Today, said spirits are still lurking about. Sightings of shadowy figures are common, but one time, somebody saw a hand coming through the tower doors. Yeah, floating hand, like a tiny hand. That's terrifying as that. Can you imagine just a smash through his hand, just lurking, shooting? Several guests have reported furniture also moving around on the show because ventilation hazard. And one person even said that they had some of their arm hairs plucked off of them while they were in the basement. How that float weird hand just... Another guest felt someone grab their ankle at one point while walking down a hallway, which actually caused them to fall down. So something's going on. I don't know what this ghost can want, but it's pretty chaotic to me, it seems. I think the ghost can want you to click like if you like this video. I think that's what it wants, really.
Starting us off at number 10 is Louisiana Old State Capitol. This neo-Gothic cathedral-like castle was built back in 1846 after the Louisiana legislature decided to relocate the capital away from the simple lifestyle scattered across New Orleans. For many years, it housed some of the most esteemed and prestigious lobbyists and lawmakers, and although it's no longer used for politics, it is far from empty. Said to be haunted by numerous entities like a security guard and an earl who lived nearby during construction. The most notorious is that of Pierre Cuvier. Once a senator in the Capitol's prime, it said Pierre dropped dead from a heart attack in the building after a spirited speech about the corruption of politics. Visitors say his ghost still haunts the halls to this day. It can often be heard stomping around the Senate floor, or the laying tricks on his steps. Once while making his nightly rounds, a security guard and a line of there on the ghost said he felt a tap of a cold finger on his shoulder, but when he turned around, nothing was there. So he knew he wasn't imagining it, and afterwards it sounded like something or someone was giggling. Most creepy of all is the numerous reports of staff saying they've seen motion detectors go off, only to find an empty room upon inspection. So they would go back and check security tapes, but nothing had entered or left at the time the sensors were triggered. Coincidence? You tell me. Coming in at number 9, the Woodland Plantation. Owned by notorious tyrant and seafarer William Johnson, during the years it was used as a sugar plantation, housing and totems of multitudes of slaves. It likely comes as no surprise that Johnson was not revered as a